yeah, I DM'd him on Instagram. I was like, hey, do you want to like, if you're ever in Toronto, like, let me know. We should do a photo shoot sometime. Like this totally random. I didn't have that many followers. Like my photography on my page was not very good. And like, and he shockingly got back to me. He was like, oh yeah, man, I'm going to be in Toronto in November or whatever. Would love to do a shoot with you. And I'm just like, whoa. I was like, what? Like, what do I do?
Isn't that wild?
That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Just shoot your shot.
Yeah, exactly. Shoot your shot.
Just Drew. Hello, everybody. I hope you're staying cool out there, and for my Canadian friends, it's been a hot start to the summer. And speaking of heat, we have brought the heat today. Not only is he an amazing person, but he is one of the top photographers in the game, and you may know him as Jonah Atkins. Jonah Atkins is a photographer with a focus on portraiture and a style that has been shaped by his upbringing in the Norfolk County countryside. His work emphasizes the relationship between the subject and the environment, pairing striking compositions with a quiet sense of deadpan humor. He also has a love for film, which heavily informs his approach to both lighting and framing. Myself and Jonah have worked on a number of projects and have become friends over the last few years. Jonah, thank you so much for coming on. I almost forgot that we were even doing a podcast at times. It was very refreshing. Here is Jonah Atkins.
Hey you, you're listening to Just Drew, Just Drew, Just Drew.
Yeah, you can adjust it if you want. Thank you.
Sure, it's pointing right at the back of my head.
It's nice having someone who understands lighting there. Sometimes I forget to turn those on, so there's a couple podcasts with and without it, and the ones with, I'm like, oh my god.
Just fading off into blackness. Yeah.
If you want, that cord will shift over. If it's like,
I can plug it in on.
Yeah. It just pops right out. Oh. It's just a twist and a pull.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
That's handy. These are nice headphones. So
yeah, they're like.
I need to get some new ones.
There's one that's better. So this is like the second best.
Yeah.
They were like still $130 each. So
yeah.
And I have 4 of them.
That's not too. Okay, well, yeah. When you,
so
when
I
you
was
add
like,
it up, yeah.
So then I didn't want to buy the $300 ones because that would be thousands.
$900 of headphones.
Yeah.
$1,200.
Too many headphones.
Yeah. I don't know what I was gonna say next. It was nice to. Yeah, we were talking about the lighting there.
Yeah.
Jonah. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I've been thinking about having you on for a while, but I was just sort of, getting into the swing of things. So yeah, it's nice. Yeah. And you said you were in Toronto last night?
Yeah, I was in Toronto yesterday. Got some film developed.
Cool.
Memento Film Lab on Ossington. Which is, I always like to plug that place. It's a great spot. Hey, yeah, mic placement. There we go. Perfect. Okay, good.
Because I was having a debate. Well, because I just got into film mostly because of you and Jesse. So I just have that little T90, but I'm like, where do I go?
Yeah.
And like Henry's is like, the commercial one, but they only do color, I think.
Yeah.
Not black and white.
I don't know if they stopped doing black and white or if they.
I think they did.
Yeah, that's
because I started
crazy.
with black and white.
Yeah.
That's what you guys recommended to me, and then I went to get it done there, and they're like, "Oh, we don't do it."
Yeah, less and less places are doing it, especially weirdly black and white, because black and white's the simplest to develop. I guess just more. There's a higher volume of color film. I guess. They just get more people bringing that in.
Because Jesse will develop black and white at home, right?
Yeah.
Do you do that as well?
Yeah.
But color's harder.
Color's harder. If I have black and white film, I do it all myself.
Yeah.
Usually, because it's pretty simple and honestly, it's pretty hard to screw it up. Unless you're really trying to. Yeah. But color film, you have to like make sure that, chemicals are a certain temperature. So you have to keep them warm. So that alone is just a huge pain in the butt, right? So it's kind of worth just bringing it somewhere to get it done for you.
So even if you go through the process, you shoot correctly, your lighting's correct, you nail it, and everything's exposed perfectly, you can still mess everything up with the development. And you can't like get it back.
Yeah. No, it's gone. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty like color negative film is pretty forgiving generally it's forgiving with exposure. You know, like you can overexpose it quite a bit, like a few stops of overexposure, and you're still going to have all that detail there. Actually, I like to shoot overexposed. Like the film I got developed yesterday was it was all portrait 800, but I shot it all at 400 ISO. So it's actually overexposing at a stop, which kind of, I guess, gives you those kind of more pastel colors with like the shadows lifted a little bit. People think of it as like the Wes Anderson
I was gonna say
kind
Wes,
of
yeah,
look, right? Especially with his last like couple of
low
movies.
Contrast,
really low contrast, and the colors are just super punchy. And like I haven't even scanned the film yet though, so I don't know. I from what I could tell, it looked pretty good.
Yeah,
it was my first time doing that actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's kind of hard to get film developed because like around here, especially like at where we are, like Langton, Simcoe, kind of that area of Norfolk, like I can't even think of one place where you would get it that's within an hour's drive.
I don't think anywhere in the county develops film.
No, I don't think so either.
There's printing options, but not development.
Well, there's like there's this place in Brantford. It's like one of the Carmen camera, you know, they're all owned by this big company. It's kind of one of those old legacy photography stores. But they don't do it in-house anymore. It takes weeks, maybe a month to get it back. It costs twice the amount, or you can just drive to Parkdale, to Ossington and Toronto, which is a pretty easy drive. If you're nervous about driving in Toronto, it's a pretty easy spot to get to. It's not right downtown, and they'll do it same day. Color film, not black and white, but they'll do it same day, and the prices are way better. Yeah. So like I go to Memento Film Lab, but there's like a number of places in Toronto that are kind of.
There's one in Hamilton I go to by the original Tim Hortons there.
Bell Art.
Bell Art.
Yeah, Bell
But
Art.
I don't know if they're overcharging me or not. But it's great, and they just digitize it, send it to me.
Yeah. It's great. It's convenient too. The convenience is worth something. Like, you know, not having to drive all that way to get it done. But I think that their stuff is a little bit pricey. Yeah.
But that's what you can do if you're like one of two.
Yeah, exactly. They've kind of got the market cornered in Hamilton. Like it's that in Burlington Cameras the other way.
Yeah, from a business standpoint, I'm like, good move. But it's like
from a consumer standpoint.
It's like, this sucks.
Yeah, it does kind of suck sometimes. Yeah. Especially when it's like black and white and you're like, I've only got a few rolls, and they're like, all right, that's $120. And you're like, what? Like, especially like I scan my own film too, so I just want them to develop it and nothing else, and it's just like.
So how are you scanning your film? Are you? Because I know I say Jesse a lot. Jesse's a mutual, Jesse's uncle, a mutual friend of mine. Yeah. So if you hear Jesse a lot, that's where that connection is.
That's the Jesse we're referring to. Yeah.
He made some kind of thing with a digital camera.
Yes.
To shoot
So
the negative.
That's what I've been doing lately, because I find that it's a lot quicker. Like I do have my own scanner. I have an Epson V600 I bought a few years ago, like a long time ago now, pre-COVID. And it's great, but it's kind of, the software you use is like archaic. Like it's so old. It's really, really slow. And the quality is like kind of iffy sometimes. So like with this method, basically what you do is, Jesse's got an old enlarger, which I think like weirdly, like everyone I talk to has everyone who's into photography for some reason just has an old enlarger in their basement. That's what I find. Like people just give them away.
What is an enlarger?
So it's for making prints. It's for making prints from negatives. So you put the negative in like a tray, and then it projects the negative onto your photosensitive paper below.
And exposes it onto the paper below.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So basically, I mean, I would love to make darkroom prints. I haven't done that yet. I have like 2 enlargers in my basement just sitting there collecting dust. But what Jesse did is he converted an old enlarger into to have a tripod mount on it, tripod head. So you mount your camera on there, and then on the tray where the photosensitive paper would traditionally be is where you put like a light mat, and then you have like a tray for your negatives to go in, and then you use a long macro lens, and you just focus it really fine, like really fine focus. You focus it on the grain, and then you end up just being able to just like pop, like take a picture, move to the next one, pop, so you get it all done really quickly.
And is that like that traditional thing you see on shows? It's the red room with the red lights.
Yeah. So that would be like a printing dark room.
So they're taking the negatives and putting it onto something else.
Yeah.
I see.
Literally straight off the negative onto some paper, and then you can.
And there's emulsion that like will help the interaction of it printing on, and then you like move it over, and there's an emulsion that like stops it. The process,
I,
right?
I don't know too much about about printmaking necessarily, but I think it's kind of similar to like developing film, where you have your developer, which is the first thing you put in, which starts the chemical process of developing the film.
Yeah.
And then you you rinse it off. Or there's a few different ways you can do it. I usually just rinse it in water for a bit. And then you put your fixer in, which stops the chemical process, stops the developing.
Right.
So then once your fixer's in, you can like expose it to light, and it's not going to expose or anything. So I think making prints is kind of similar to that. I mean, if somebody's listening and they like know how to make prints, they can be like, "What are you talking about?" That's fine. That's fine. But
I've never done it.
I
Never
think
been around it.
that's kind of my understanding of it.
Yeah.
Where I'm at right now.
Okay. Yeah. I've like they're always in the movies, and there's like so and so.
It looks awesome.
Yeah.
It looks awesome in movies.
The forensic detective exposing photos in the red room.
Finding a clue and like a picture like in the background.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I forgot to turn the TV on.
Well, it was on, but
was it on?
It was playing Baywatch.
I
thought Baywatch. Yeah, I was gonna say it might be a little distracting. Baywatch.
Hilarious, but it's the default channel it goes to. 24/7.
That's what Drew says, but I think he just
Baywatch.
All right, Drew.
He's favorited Baywatch.
But actually, if sometimes when you leave it on, I don't know what era it is, but Jason Momoa is in some of these episodes. And he must be like a teenager.
Oh, like old Baywatch.
Old Baywatch.
Oh,
and he looks...
He originated as...
He looks 17, 18. Yeah. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the episode. I have a quick word from our sponsor, Burning Kiln Winery. Get ready for the summer event of the year. Burning Kiln Winery's Concerts in the Vineyard Festival, July 23rd to 27th. Kick things off with the original boy band, 98 Degrees on Wednesday. Dance in the Vineyard with the Hallucination on Thursday. Enjoy Dean Brody live Friday night. And on Saturday, sing along with Choir. And to wrap it all up on Sunday with the legendary Blue Rodeo. 5 days of unforgettable music under the summer sky, all in one amazing place. See you at Burning Kiln Winery, July 23rd to the 27th. Don't miss out. Tickets for each performance on sale now, starting at just $39 at burningkilnwinery.ca. Now, back to the podcast. And I can tell it's him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
There's no mistaking that guy.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I knew he was in Stargate. He used to film in Vancouver a lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In the old, like, low-budget Stargate TV shows. Because I had one of Ashley's cousins was a script supervisor on that and met him.
Cool. Okay.
When he was
Very
before Game of Thrones. Well, maybe it would have been like right during it, but Baywatch. It's okay, Drew, because you got to like connect it on there.
I'm doing it.
Oh, there you go.
Hell yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Just because I was like, what does the red room look like? And maybe pull it up. But
there's lots of things
visual
I
reference,
but I didn't know.
Also, Chad. It's okay. You don't have to record it either. I haven't really been throwing the records on the episodes, but maybe I should.
Ooh.
There you go. Oh, that's like from.
Oh, this is
that looks like
looking.
A dungeon. Yeah. That's the
maybe
dark rooms
room?
I'm used
dark
to
room.
aren't quite as dungeon looking. Although I don't know, depends.
Yeah,
dark room photography maybe.
So I guess these papers
Photo
would have
lab.
like a coating on it, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just
there you go. Go to see the light shining down.
Yeah.
It looks more like an illustration,
This
but
one?
still.
Yeah. Well, that kind of gives you the idea, though.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've never done it. I do have all of the equipment for it. Somebody, when I was starting out in photography, someone just randomly gave me like all of this film photography gear, like processing stuff. They gave me a medium format camera, Mamiya C220, which is like really unique, really cool camera, just for free, just because they knew that I was interested in this stuff and I was starting out.
And they were done with it.
Probably. Yeah, they were done with it. They kind of had like he's an older guy and he was like, I don't really shoot too much anymore. He's like, I've got, I shoot mostly digital now. So I just am looking for someone to kind of somebody who's passionate about it to take this stuff and use it. So that was pretty amazing. That was definitely a big kind of a catalyst for me getting into film photography, because like I have the red light bulb and everything, like the developing trays for prints and like I said, the enlarger and all that stuff. I still have yet to use it because I just don't have a space to set up for it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all there whenever I do. Yeah.
And the red light is because the wavelength doesn't affect the
it doesn't
emulsion,
expose it doesn't react with the
Okay.
chemicals on the film or on the print, the paper.
Because I
guess,
used to do, when I worked at another place, I used to run an observatory tour with a huge telescope, and the only lights we could have on were red lights, because I guess it doesn't affect your eye. So like if you look at your phone, you're gonna have a hard time seeing all the stars and stuff. Because we would always like point out constellations before. The whole time anything that was on, it was a red light, and I didn't know why, but I guess it's like the wavelength. So it's weird that it's same thing for photo development. So like that red wavelength.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I guess a blue light is like like light pollution essentially.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Like,
And that's why they say like not to look at your phone before bed, because your brain thinks it's the morning. Because like blue hour. I guess?
It really messes with. It can really mess with your sleep,
circadian rhythm.
Your circadian rhythm.
That's why they have those blue light blocking glasses. Which
I've
heard
I think
really
my glasses have the blue light coating on them. Yeah.
I had mine built into my previous pair, but I was color grading a lot, and I sometimes would just wear them and forget. And I'm like, what? I'd go back to it. I'm like, what the fuck was
everything
I
looks
doing?
a little bit too
warm.
cold.
Yeah,
because it's a little. It's like I do notice that. It's like when I look through them, it's like ever so slightly warmer with the blue light coating, which is just literally. I guess I don't know how it works. It must just literally be just balancing out the blue light.
I think it cancels the blue out.
Yeah. But everything else is a little bit warmer. Yeah, other than the blue light. Yeah.
Sounds nice. Nice rose-colored glasses.
Yeah, you should get some.
Yeah.
Well, I wear contacts now, and I don't know if it affects. I should maybe look that up, because sometimes I'll grade with contacts in, and I'm like, am I seeing everything accurately?
Yeah.
I know you can check all the tools and stuff, and they'll tell you, but yeah.
Do you have like a color balanced monitor?
Yeah, so this is like an Acer, like it's specifically built for grading.
Okay, nice.
It was very expensive back in the day. And then I have a Spider in the drawer here.
Yeah.
So I have a 2-week reminder, and I'll just calibrate
it.
2 weeks. So.
Yeah, I recently bought a Apple Studio display.
Okay.
Whoa.
Which was like, I know.
Hell
I probably shouldn't have bought it.
No, you should. I love spending money on gear. I feel so good. Like I was showing you
in the moment,
I felt
I showed
like
you
shit
my V-mount battery. Even that, it was a few $100.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck yeah. It feels solid.
I did find though, it was a bit of like an impulse thing. I was like, I'll just do it. But the more that once I start using it, and I start really actually noticing a difference in like the output of my pictures and videos and stuff. Like just having that nice big screen, having it color calibrated, everything just comes out like bang on. Yeah. Like it makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
It actually does. Yeah.
I was having this issue with a current client I'm working with, but they were like, oh, like it looks a little colder. We want it to look a little warmer, so I calibrated my monitor. It wasn't too off.
Yeah.
But I'm like also thinking, well, what are you looking at?
Yeah, exactly.
What is your monitor like? Her monitor could be just way off.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah.
And so I often, like, if it's a brand and they're advertising on social media, I'll be like, just look at it on your phone, because that's where the most of your clients are going to see it.
Exactly. Yeah. I found, I just did a video, like a music video recently. It's like this is the biggest video I've done in a while. It was for Dan Mangan. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were going to say the artist. Not just at artist.
Yeah. No, it's for Dan Mangan.
Dan Mangan.
It was for his song "It Might Be Raining," which is like a really beautiful song about his sons, and so that was kind of the first big test for the new monitor, and for color grading too. It was a whole new process of color grading for me, because like I know photography, I know, editing, and like I use Lightroom. A lot of people use Capture One. I'm still kind of on Lightroom.
I use Lightroom.
Which is a little bit, behind the curve. The industry standards kind of Capture One now, but that's just what I'm on right now. Anyway, so I know how to, get great pictures out of that. It's not too hard, but like with video, it's a whole other world. It's a completely different world.
Moving.
Yeah, and it's not something I'm like as experienced with as photography. So it was just a matter of like exporting it, and like an early edit I did of it like a few months ago. I exported it, and just with like whatever the base settings were, I used DaVinci Resolve, whatever the base settings were, and I exported it, and I'm like, it looks okay, but it looks totally different from what's in my timeline, right? Like the colors, the contrast, the saturation, everything. It's totally just washed out. It doesn't look half as good, and it still looked decent, but I was like, this isn't half as good as it looks. I want it to look like that, like what I'm seeing. So I kind of sat on it for a while, and then I ended up watching tons of YouTube videos, all of those YouTube videos that are like 20 minutes long when they could be like 1 minute long, and just show you how to do it in like the first 30 seconds, but they drag it out as long as they possibly can. So that honestly, most of the time was spent just like combing through bad YouTube videos, trying to find like the 10 seconds that are actually relevant. But anyway, so I ended up having to regrade the whole thing like from scratch. And it took a long time, but it like, it was like, exporting it in, a different color space, using a completely different color space, which like all of this stuff is so abstract and it still barely makes sense to me at all. But using a completely different color space that is, a little bit more geared to Apple screens, which is what 90% of people are going to be watching it on. And it looks amazing, and it still looks good on any screen, really.
So you're exporting it with the iPhone in mind?
Kind of.
Yeah.
That's just what I was like. I was just trying to find out. I'm like, how do I just get an export that looks like it looks in my timeline? Like, how do I get to look like this?
I have that issue a lot where I'll grade and it looks great on my monitor.
Yeah.
And I know it's calibrated and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I put it out on my phone and it looks desaturated.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? So like, if it's just quick social media stuff for the folk, I'll just like, okay, let's just increase everything a little bit, and then it looks, it's passable, and everyone's like, oh, it looks great, but to me, I'm like,
yeah. So like this process I did, I'm trying to remember exactly like everything that I did for it, but it was like H.264.
Okay.
Which like I used to use H.265 sometimes because that could give you slightly better colors, but like again, like I'm not an expert on this area of camera stuff. But H.264, Rec 709A, which is the Apple kind of specific version of Rec 709.
Okay.
Which isn't selected by default.
Okay.
And
this is all DaVinci too, right?
Yeah, this is all in DaVinci, but I mean, I think it kind of will apply to whatever software you use to some extent. So yeah, Rec 709A, and like honestly, like I exported it and it looked exactly like perfect. Like it looked exactly as it did in my monitor, and it was like I'll send you the video I watched.
Because I shot a music video with Gaurav, who I've talked about before, and we were having issues where the blacks were starting to band a bit. And we went over a couple different versions and we couldn't figure it out, and eventually we just switched to H.265, and then all of a sudden the banding disappeared in the blacks. And we're like, that is so like, I don't know. So I guess it's just a little bit H.265. It's like, it's a smaller file, but it's the way it's coded.
Yeah.
I'm also not a computer guy.
No, I mean, like, honestly, I'm not either. I have a very, very, like, tenuous grasp on like, video,
but the Rec 709A, I mean, you want to try that now.
That's something to look into.
Yeah. Because when I do quick socials, I'll just color in Lumetri real quick.
Yeah.
Throw a little S-curve, adjust some things, and then boom, out. Because there's no point spending 8 hours on a social media clip that'll get some attention for a day, and then it's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless it's like a high-paying client.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So I often don't dive into DaVinci unless it's like a passion project.
Yeah. I do really like DaVinci. Like, I know Premiere is still kind of the standard, but I just find it kind of a nightmare to use.
Well, also like, fuck Adobe, honestly.
Yeah. That's the other thing.
Sorry, don't come after me, but fuck.
Increasing their prices too.
Did you see
increase their prices?
Did you see PewDiePie going on a rant on the internet?
I didn't
Does everyone know PewDiePie?
Yeah, I know who he is.
You don't know who PewDiePie is?
No, I know. I kind of,
I know of him.
He's like the biggest YouTuber ever prior to Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he canceled his subscription and they charged him a cancel fee.
Yeah, that happened to me. Yeah,
that happened to you.
Yeah, that happened.
So if you want to cancel Adobe, they will charge you. If not, you can't cancel.
Yeah, Yeah.
That does not seem legal.
You have to
me.
ride out your whole subscription.
What
yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah, that's right. Or if you want to cancel, I think you have to pay the remainder of your whatever's left on your subscription, and maybe plus an extra fee. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised.
It used to be way better. It used to be like, I'm gonna cancel, and they're like, okay, maybe we'll give it to you for like 20% off.
Yeah,
like, no, I still have to cancel. It's too expensive. Like, okay,
pay us $100,
90% off,
Yeah,
and we'll
yeah.
give, and we'll let
They'll
you
try to get you to stay.
And I'd always do that every
Yeah.
few months. I'd be like, I'm canceling.
Now
I'd be
they
like,
just
no, don't.
They
please.
just brute force you into it.
They're like, oh, that's good to know because I'm gonna do it soon, and now I don't know if I will.
Yeah, just see when your subscription ends
and cancel it,
and then cancel it then. But I mean, even still, you're still gonna end up paying the same amount. Like they're gonna get their money. Yeah. I remember I was like, when I was in college, I was like super broke, and I was like, I don't need to be paying for Premiere. I just need Photoshop and Lightroom. I don't need all these extra ones. So I'm like, oh, I want to cancel these, and then it's like they wanted to charge me like $150 or something.
So you're paying more or the same?
Yeah, so it's insane.
It doesn't really matter what you do.
It's like so scammy, like
and it's
so
like,
scammy.
I know there's a lot of programs out there right now, but they still have a bit of a monopoly because of the ecosystem. It's like Apple, and so they have a photo version, they have a video version, they have special effects, they have it's.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah. Like they're good. Like I don't really have any major complaints about their products necessarily.
Oh,
like,
I do.
Like I'm okay with Lightroom. I don't use Premiere. I probably would complain about it all the time if I used
Premiere's
it.
buggy.
Yeah. That's what was my experience.
It's simple little bugs that I feel like, won't take that long.
How
to
hard
fix.
could they be to fix? Yeah. That's kind of why I started using DaVinci because, like, I have a Blackmagic camera. That's why it came with the Blackmagic. You get a free subscription to DaVinci or a free ownership. You don't subscribe to it. You just pay for it once and then you've got it.
That's sick.
Which is great. And yeah, I strongly prefer it. Just the workflow aspect of it. Like it's just way more intuitive. It's way easier to use. Yeah. And also you can go so deep in color grading. Like it's really great. Yeah.
I know a lot of people who just cut only in there now.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Because it was focused on color initially and then they started adding some editing features.
Yeah. It's got a full editing, like everything, full suite. So it's like editing, you have like a special effects panel too, which like I can't really speak to how good that is because I don't do anything like that. But yeah, you can if you want to. If you wanted to learn it, I'm sure you could do a lot in there. There's also an audio, like a whole audio, like everything on your screen along the bottom bar, everything's lined up. So you've got your editing tab, and then you click over into your effects tab, and then you work on your effects, and then you click over to your audio tab, and then the last one is your export tab. So it's pretty intuitive the way that they've got it set up.
My issue is I'm just trying to stay afloat with all the current projects. I'm just trying to stay on top of everything, and to like take a few days to learn a new software I haven't done it yet.
You need the luxury of time, to do that. Like it takes time. Yeah. Like I started out. That's just what I started with. So that was just kind of, I started with DaVinci, so that's just what I'm used to.
The grading's very appealing to me, but it's not like my love.
Yeah.
So. I want to direct and edit mostly. And so if it's a higher-end project, I'll have someone color grade it who is way better than I am.
Exactly.
Which is usually Gaurav, and he like really he really knows DaVinci really well.
Yeah. So you can go so deep in it. It's crazy. Yeah.
Man, I was watching, they've even added, I don't know if it's a plugin, but you can add lighting. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah,
it was
you sent me something about that.
Oh my god, like nuts. A talking head interview, and they just like missed some kind of hair light.
And it's crazy.
Like, we'll just add it in. Boop, and I'm like, what?
It's pretty wild. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, I don't know how much you could do with that. Like, I'm sure it's still pretty limited because I just like logistically don't know how that works. But yeah, for now, I'm sure that in a year it'll be flawless. But like, they also added some film emulation,
which we were talking about. Yeah.
So they added that. They added the film emulation LUTs right after I bought Dehancer, which is like this really
That's the one
amazing,
we're talking about.
Yeah, really amazing plugin, like the
external plugin.
Yeah, like with the best film emulation out there that you can buy.
And so now they've added their own?
They've added their own. It's definitely not on the level of like Dehancer. Though. Definitely not. Like you can pick your film stock that you want. Like out of all of the film stocks, like stills film stocks too. So like Portra or like motion picture film stocks too, like it was ones they don't even make anymore, like really, really cool. And you can customize the bloom, you know, the halation and like all of the imperfections that come with shooting on film. You can add in a really convincing way too. So that's actually going back to the Dan Mangan video. That's kind of what I did, because like I would love to shoot on film. I would absolutely love to, but it's just not possible, at least with the kind of budget that I'm working with.
And you're very like, at least with him touring and stuff, it's very on the go.
Totally.
So
yeah.
like you don't have time
I have one
to
shot.
Finesse lighting.
I'm filming live performances,
Yeah.
and I'm by myself. I don't have anyone helping me. So, you know, if something goes wrong, you know, I need to be shooting on digital for this kind of thing. But it's pretty wild how accurate you can make it look if you really know what makes film, like what makes something look like it's on film, which isn't just grain and isn't just, you know,
those
color
imperfections.
shifts. Yeah, it's also like if you want it to look like vintage 16mm, throw like a blur over the whole thing. That's what I did. The whole video, there's like a really thin layer of just lens blur, so it's like slightly blurry the whole time. But then it also like reacts with the light, and like obviously the stage lights like have this great, you know, like really great intensity to them, which reads really well, especially if you're trying to make something look kind of filmy.
Which is well, I think what's the Dune cinematographer?
Greg Fraser.
He's very big on just like imperfect filming. And that's the problem with digital, is it's so sharp. So all these filmmakers who grew up in the film world prior to, they're trying to just get that digital back to film.
Yeah. Which I think that I mean it's like it's a good thing. Like I don't think there's like a one's better than the other necessarily. Like I'm kind of a, you know, sucker for the romance of shooting on film a little bit. Like I just think,
is that like what is your draw to film?
Well, definitely the texture, which is like a little bit vague, but there's just a texture to it that you can see. It feels, and also just the fact that it's a real actual physical chemical process happening. Like what you're watching is a chemical reaction. It's just so cool.
There's do you mind looking up a quote from Spielberg about film versus digital? Maybe ask Chad, he might find it quicker, but you do you. Yeah. There's a great quote, Spielberg, and he has this quote about film versus digital. And I just don't want to butcher it.
Yeah, chemical miracle, is that it?
That's it. What does it say, Drew? I can't see it with the glare.
Digital photo is science. Film photography is a chemical miracle.
Yeah. I just love that quote so much.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, digital photography is incredible for its own reasons, but I think I'm a little bit more drawn to the analog way of doing things a little bit, which you know, without it feeling, you know, I try to emulate that in my photography and in my, you know, my videos, whatever I'm shooting, in a way that doesn't feel super gimmicky, because sometimes you can push it too far and it's like, okay, well, what's really the point of it, you know, you faking the film look so hard, you know, but I think there's a way to kind of pull out the aspects of film that make it look so beautiful and implement it in a digital picture, or without it looking like you're trying really hard to just make it look like a film picture. You're not trying to fool anybody. You're just trying to, like, you know, bring out those aspects that you're drawn to.
And I don't come from that film world. I just shoot casually with that little T90, which it's great. I really like it. Yeah. But like a couple of videos I've been grading in DaVinci and trying to add, so I'm learning about like halation and blooming and things back in the day that would be like, I don't know, considered imperfect, but it's kind of what you want.
Well,
you don't want movies to look like real life.
No,
you already live real life, so it's kind of an escape.
I mean, there are certain movies where, like, thematically it makes sense, like it works with the narrative of the movie or the theme or whatever they're trying to say with the movie. Like it totally. But that's also the reason that, like, one is not better than the other, digital or film. Like, one is not better than the other. It just depends on the project. It totally depends. It just has to be in service of whatever, you know, whatever you're trying to say with your film or your photography or whatever. Like, as long as it's contributing to that and it's not, like, just a totally aesthetic, you know, decision.
Well, and that's that whole thing about, like, newer people are like, well, what camera do you have? What camera should I get? And my answer is like, well, what are you shooting?
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
What are you
doesn't
shooting?
matter. Yeah. That's like something I say a lot is that just like gear doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter, but it does matter depending on like what you are looking to do. So like if you're going to shoot, if you're a concert photographer and it's dark all the time, like you might want to stick with a digital camera.
Yeah, for sure.
But maybe not. I mean, you can push the film afterwards, but it can be very grainy. It's going to have a very specific look.
Which, like, if you're shooting concerts, artists usually love that. And they usually love the more filmy you can make it look.
Yes.
They usually love that.
And oftentimes you'll see a lot of wedding photographers too with a digital and then like a Pentax or like a film.
Yeah. It just totally depends on what you're shooting. And also, I'm kind of coming at it from, like, not so much like I'm coming at it from a bit more of like an art photographer standpoint, which is different from what you would
You're not just trying to make money.
Yeah. I'm definitely not trying to make money. That's for sure. No, but like a photographer who does like, corporate headshots, does, real estate stuff. Like
that's where I come from.
Yeah.
So I come from the wedding real estate world. So it's like my digital camera is a tool to make money.
Exactly.
It's to make income.
Exactly. And same here too. Like I totally, it's totally a huge part of like, I mean, most of the money that I make is not from the photography you're going to see in my portfolio. Like, I think most of it is all just free shoots that I arranged myself.
Yeah. But stuff you actually care about.
Yeah, that's definitely where my passion is more.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, figuring out how to make that, people want to buy, pay you for that as opposed to just like them being like, okay, come and take a picture of this thing, come and take a picture of my house, or whatever. It's
this
like
product.
Product. So,
so is that the majority of what you do is portraits and specifically film?
You
try to
definitely. Like my portfolio is 100% portraits. So I do.
Well, I would say all of them because you have some really cool, unique. Some of them are landscapey, but not really. You always have like something you're focusing.
Yeah,
on.
like environmental portraits, I guess.
Yeah.
Like people kind of in their spaces. Like I've done a ton of studio photography, and I love shooting in the studio. But I think really what makes me light up is going to a location or finding like a weird spot and just getting someone to just stand in or do an interesting pose or something. I just think
a little more spontaneous.
Yeah, a little more spontaneous. It feels a little bit more, I guess, documentary. Yeah, a little more authentic. Yeah. Which, and I think that there's more of a story there too, which is like with studio photography, as much as I love it and as much as I really admire a lot of really great studio photographers, sometimes it can just kind of feel like pretty lighting, cool pose. Doesn't go a whole lot deeper than that sometimes, which is not to say there's anything wrong with that totally at all. It takes so much skill to be able to be a good studio photographer. It takes so much skill, so much knowledge. But I think when I see a good environmental portrait, somebody in their space, like a whole story happening in a real location.
It's like you have built a set almost.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of some of my, that's kind of showing some of my influence from films and like how much I love films, is that I kind of think of pictures like more so as like a shot out of a movie or something. I'm like, what's the story in this picture?
Yeah, where's all the context? What's going on? Why
exactly.
Are they here?
Yeah.
What is that thing behind him?
Context. Exactly. Like that's what I think. And I was thinking about this recently. I mean, all that I think about is like creative process stuff, pretty much, to a fault probably. But I was thinking about, what do I think actually makes like a good picture? Because it's like, it's not lighting, it's not even composition, it's not even subject matter. Like I'm like, it could be anything that's a good picture. Like I'm not looking for perfect Rembrandt lighting on everybody. I'm not looking for colors or anything. I'm just like, what is it? And I think it boils down to just like adding and subtracting the right amount of context to whatever you're shooting. Especially if you're in like a real location, studio's a little different, but, just having the right amount of context to your subject, kind of building that story and taking away pieces, making it as abstract or, as not whatever the opposite of abstract is, as literal as you want, which maybe is a little bit abstract, a little bit of an abstract way to talk about it, but like, I think it just goes to show that like there's really no right or wrong way to take a good picture. You just have to follow your instincts on like what you think the story is.
And, it's a little cliche, but art is subjective.
Yeah, exactly.
And it really depends on like, what's your history? What was your childhood like? Where's your mentality?
Yeah,
so it's like
100%.
There could be a photo that I'm looking at. I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. I love this. And then another person is looking at it and it's like really triggering for them.
Yeah.
And they're like, I hate this
totally,
photo, right?
Totally.
So
funny example of that is I watched do you know who Tim Robinson is?
Yeah.
Why do I know that name?
You think you should leave?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So we went and saw some friends and I went and saw the his new movie Friendship with Paul Rudd.
Yes.
And I thought it was the funniest movie I've ever seen in my whole life. It's a very like
it's like dumb humor, right?
It's dark. It's pretty dark.
And dry.
And like I thought it was hilarious, but like some people I talked to were like, it was really upsetting. Like I couldn't handle it, and I'm like, it's just totally. Everyone has their own.
I just watched Tom Segura's series on Netflix, and it's like a series of little short films.
Yeah,
it's very grotesque, very dark, very super fucked up. I can't believe Netflix allows this type of shit. And then it's like I'm howling.
Yeah.
But if I were to watch that with like my mom,
yeah,
she'd be like, "Oh my god, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, why did anyone make this? Because it's funny."
Yeah. It's funny to you, but everyone's your whole background kind of influences what you find funny.
For sure.
What you yeah.
Yeah. And so like if you're like this, all you do is studio portraiture and you have perfect lighting, and then you see some street photographer and you may not like that.
Yeah,
because it's imperfect and
and that's kind of the way that I'm trying to think about it. Is like I'm like, how can I like figure out what makes a good picture in the most objective sense possible? Because like really that takes out so many factors. Is like objectively, I just think what makes a good picture is just having the right amount of context in whatever your subject is, which is pretty vague, but I think that's just how it is. That's everything else is totally subjective, right? Yeah.
And like I come from a documentary world, so there's something exciting about like coming into a shoot. You're prepared, you have all your stuff, but you don't know the angle, you don't know where the best lighting's going to be, and you're trying to like you're trying to find it. And I like that. It's very stimulating to me.
Yeah. That's the problem-solving aspect of photography, and a video is like that's another thing that I'm totally drawn to. Is maybe the thing that I love most about it is like getting somewhere and being like, okay, this is the puzzle. How do I put it together? Yeah. That's the most fun.
Do you ever find like you sort of get into, or rut's not the right word, but sort of like a stagnant type of, like, are you approaching every photo the same way, and do you catch yourself, and do you try to change it up a little bit?
I try to consciously change it up as much as I can, because recently I've been doing a lot of studio photography. And I'm just kind of sick of it. I'm kind of sick of like finagling with lights and fussing with things, and I just want to be in the moment, and I just want to be totally present with whoever I'm photographing, and just being like, let's just get some cool pictures. Let's not care about the lighting so much. I just have I'll just throw a flash on my camera, with a slow shutter speed. Like even if like everything's blurry, like I don't care. Let's capture something with energy, with like some actual life to it. That's not just somebody like sitting and like, looking at a
little more corporate-y.
A little more corporate-y, like a little more I guess just stagnant. I want some stuff with movement. So yeah.
That's always my struggle. It's like if you overpost, it does really come down to the subject. Like some subjects are just they just are great for the camera, and they just have a presence. And other people, they paid you to get the photo done, and you need to get it done, and you're trying to pose them, but it comes off on the camera. Like people can tell, even if you're not a photographer, that it's posed. Yeah. And then there's other photos where it looks so natural. They look very natural. They look very comfortable. Yeah. And that was always a struggle for me, because like I love portraits, and it was like I've only really gotten into it in the last few years, and I'm learning a lot from you and a lot from Jesse. But it's like, what poses do you do? How do you get them comfortable in front of the camera if someone's nervous, right? And they're paying you to do it, so you got to get it done.
It's hard, especially like you said, if they're paying you like a good rate to do it, you want to make sure that they're happy with it, of course.
But if they look awkward, They look like it's just. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, sometimes there's only so much you can really do about that. Like some people just freeze right up.
And they get stiff.
Yeah. And like you relax the shoulders, and then they'll relax their shoulders for 2 pictures, and then they're back,
And I think that's nice. If you can afford it, it's nice to have a second person to just have a second eye, because you could be really caught up in the lighting and the framing.
Having an assist is so nice.
And you're not paying attention to them as much. And then that where your assistant's like, oh, hey, there's a hair here.
That's something that I discovered. And that like once the first time I had an assistant on a shoot, I was like, oh my God, I'm never going back. This is so much nicer.
You're sharing bandwidth.
Yeah, exactly.
Me again. A quick word from our sponsor, Burning Kiln Winery. Back by popular demand is Bloom, the ultimate summer rosé. It's bright, floral, and refreshingly unpretentious. I'd recommend pairing this with sunshine and a pool. Or try Roots in its best vintage yet. This one is crisp, citrusy, and easy drinking. Perfect for any summer adventure. But Drew, what if I only like red wine? Well, you're in luck. You can grab a can of Ember. Made for campfires and barbecues, this one is smooth, soft, and full of berry goodness. You can grab one of these for only $6.95 at Burning Kiln Winery, or even better yet, you can grab 6 of them for the price of 5 at $36. You can grab yours today at Burning Kiln Winery, or if you are attending the concerts in the Vineyard Festival, you can also purchase a can of Bloom, Ember, or Roots right there in person. 98 Degrees, The Hallucination, Dean Brody, Choir, Blue Rodeo, and that's July 23rd to the 27th. Tickets can be purchased at burningkilnwinery.ca. Now back to the episode.
But you just have a second pair of eyes, because if you're setting everything up, setting up all the lights, you're shooting everything, like you're in a million different places at once. You kind of need someone else there to kind of keep you on track sometimes too. Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah, it was kind of fun talking about posing too, because like I feel like maybe this was like kind of I think I kind of leaned into the awkwardness of posing in a lot of my portraits, like on purpose. Like if somebody is standing there awkwardly, I'm like, I want them to look more awkward. Like I don't want them to look less awkward. And that's why people don't typically, like, if I'm taking a picture of somebody for myself, not for them, they don't usually like love it, because I kind of, I'm like, I want, you look really uncomfortable, and I want to like use that in the picture. Yeah. And obviously you don't want to look uncomfortable in a picture, which is
the Step Brothers portrait.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of my studio portraits kind of look like that.
Yeah.
And like, it's fun for a while, but I also think, I got to a point, like you said, of like,
can you pull up his page at Instagram? You don't mind?
Oh yeah. But like you said, like getting to a point where you want to switch things up, because I'm like looking at all my work and I'm like, okay, I have a lot of portraits like this, and I think it's starting to feel a little bit gimmicky, and I don't, I want it to feel like there's a big variety, like, show all the wide range of photography that I can do.
Yeah.
So
where do we want to go?
Ooh. Let's find some weird ones. Scroll in a bit.
I've got my physical portfolio here as well.
Keep going. Oh yes, I do want to look at this. I haven't seen this. So this is one we were talking about. You were printing. And
yeah.
Because I haven't looked at it yet.
So are these like film, or are they?
Those are all digital. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Those are all digital. Yeah. But yeah, you can kind of see. I try to bring out some of the like qualities of film that I like, without it necessarily looking like a super,
that one of Mangan's cool. That's in a mirror, right? Oh, we should talk about that too. That's an interesting story.
Yeah, the Dan Mangan.
I think it's really inspirational, because, at least from my perspective, like, it's scary just putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be rejected.
No, I feel like
especially as an artist.
Yeah. Well, I reached out to Dan like the first time, like before I was in photography school, before I was even like a photographer, really. Like I reached out to him before I had a lot of stuff figured out.
And for context, everybody, if you don't know who Dan Mangan is, he's like a very huge Canadian artist from Vancouver. Like, he's big. He's a huge artist. Massive artist. Like, tours internationally.
He's got a big following.
Yes.
Yeah. I've been a fan of his for a very long time, like since I was like 13. Right?
Yeah.
So,
and you're also a musician, so that's really cool.
Yeah. So I reached out to him just on Instagram. Like, he has no idea who I am.
DM'd him.
Yeah, I DM'd him on Instagram. I was like, hey, do you want to like, if you're ever in Toronto, like, let me know. We should do a photo shoot sometime. Like, this totally random. I didn't have that many followers. Like, my photography on my page was not very good, and like, and he shockingly got back to me. He was like, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna be in Toronto in November or whatever. Would love to do a shoot with you. And I'm just like, I was like, what? Like, what do I do?
Isn't that wild?
That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Just shoot your shot.
Yeah, exactly. Shoot your shot. Like, what the worst they could say is no or nothing. Like,
thanks for reaching out.
Exactly.
I got a guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
So what?
Love your music. Have a good tour.
Exactly. Right. And that still kind of puts you in the back of their head too, right?
For sure.
Like, if they're ever looking for somebody else,
yeah,
you kind of
also,
put your name out there.
I need to fist bump. That's cool. Like, that's dope that you did that.
Yeah, thanks. That was years ago now. That was a long time ago.
Well, I remember I was on a shoot with Jesse.
Yeah.
We were talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like the next day you were going to go and meet him.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, he what? Like, he DM'd him. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah. Well, Dan, too, in particular, is pretty responsive on social media, like with his fans and with anybody. Like, I would say more so than most artists on social media. He really, really makes an effort to be accessible.
Yeah.
Which is really, really cool. Really unique, and is a lot of work too.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, we did that. We did the shoot in Toronto in a friend's apartment.
Okay.
On Queen Street. And
just some portraits?
Yeah, some portraits, and then we did a walk outside, like walked around the block. I took some pictures of him there, and like, they were, for where I was at in my, development as a photographer, they're good. They're good shots, and he really liked them, and
was it just him? He doesn't have like a team?
No, just him. Yeah, just
very
him.
down to earth.
Yeah, he just took an Uber to the to the apartment, like very down to earth, very, very great guy, very chill. So yeah, and then the next day I came back to the city and I photographed his show at the Danforth Music Hall, which was, I think, like his first show since COVID. Like, this was 2021, so I think this was his first show since. I mean, there were still lockdowns after that, I think, but so it was a big deal, and it was packed, like sold out, like totally packed. And like I remember how nervous I, like, taking an Uber to the to Danforth Music Hall and just like being like, what am I doing? I don't know.
Also,
what do I do?
Country kid in the city.
Yeah,
right?
Totally. I was like, oh my god, what do I do? I'm like, I want to be a city boy, but I'm just not yet.
Yeah.
So but it went amazing. I got some really some shots. I still like look back, I'm like, oh, those are pretty good. And I also met, I think Georgia Harmer was opening for him that night, so I took some pictures of her too, and she's just like the nicest person, and it was so cool. And then I left, I was scared shitless going in, because like I was just like,
sorry, is this distracting?
Your cat looks so funny right now.
He was on the verge of biting me, so I picked him up.
It's okay, that's all right.
He's listening.
So yeah, I was totally nervous, but then like leaving, it was just like euphoria. It was just like the best feeling in the world. Like, oh my god, I can't believe I did that. That's the coolest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Going backstage and like taking pictures of all the guys.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, super cool. So then anyway, after that, I went on a tour with him in 2022 across Western Canada,
which would have been the second spike of COVID.
Yes, it was. COVID interfered with that tour, as a matter of fact. So yeah, we did that, and then this past fall, most recently, I went on a tour with him, like a short tour in Ontario, just me and him and Eric, the sound guy, in a van, driving around Southern Ontario. Yeah, Eric Stecky, great guy. But yeah, so we drove around Southern Ontario, shooting this video that just came out for It Might Be Raining.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it was a ton of fun. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Is so, I know like you come from a portrait and photography background, but like, does that interest you in music videos, or maybe so music videos that are a little more documentarian?
Yeah, I love shooting. I love shooting live performances. Like, I do really enjoy it. I like shooting video for live performance even more than stills, actually, because stills, concert photography can kind of look a little samey sometimes, because it's like you got the lighting and everything. Like, so with film, you have a little bit more, I guess, creative wiggle room, in a way, because you've got you're shooting motion, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoy doing that. But yeah, music videos is something I would love to do, because I have some ideas for concepts for music videos that are kind of weird and fun.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I have some bands in mind that I'm trying to get in touch with.
Nice. Well, and you're building a portfolio. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to do more video, more film stuff too. So,
cool.
Like particularly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were trying to do that. Trying to do this thing with the folk where we give some merch to some artists and they shoot some stuff. But the one who currently has all our merch is shooting 16 millimeter, Super 8. She's shooting like a little Super 8 type of. That's what she said she wanted to do. And she's like, "What do you want me to do with it?" And I was like, "If you're shooting super, just do whatever you want to do. Like, I don't want to interfere at all."
Yeah, totally.
So I'm still waiting on it, but I'm excited to see what she
yeah,
does
it's gonna be cool. Super 8's really cool.
Yeah,
really fun.
Yeah. I think her name came up on that short film we were on. I don't want to call her out on here, but I'll tell you after.
Oh, I'm so curious. You'll have to text me.
Well, I don't want to shout her out in case it doesn't work out or something. I don't know.
Everyone's gonna be like, "Where's the Super 8, Drew?"
Yeah, she's from here, lives in Hamilton. DM'd us, said she wanted to do it, and I was like, "Great, cool. I'll drop some stuff off for you." So
I have 5 minutes.
How dare you?
I can leave the camera, but you might need to bring it to me at Eco when you're done.
After, like today.
Yeah, because I might need it in the morning.
I can do that.
Okay,
I can do that for
you. Sweet.
There is a little bit more I want to talk about. So
yeah, for sure. No, this is going.
If you don't mind, I'll just drop it off after.
Yeah, I'll when I leave, I'll do a start-stop. So you have a half hour.
Yeah.
Until you have to walk over and
yeah.
Canon problems. The 30-minute record.
Yeah.
This particular one, because it's the what one is this?
R6.
R6.
Oh, okay.
I think the R2.
R6.
Or no, yeah, R6.
And that's like the more video-oriented camera, isn't
well,
it?
it'll film for hours, but you got to start it every 30 minutes.
Yeah. I don't know if the Mark II they took that off or.
Yeah, that's weird. I wonder why that is, like overheating
or. Maybe a bit of that. I read something about it was like an import-export issue. Like they're considered not video cameras if they have a limit on it.
Oh,
so
okay.
like for exporting.
Not a camcorder per se.
Yeah, it's in a different category, I guess. I don't know. That's just something I read.
This will go until you just run out of juice. Yeah. Actually, give me a second.
All right. Goodbye, folks.
All right. Goodbye, Drew.
Just Drew.
You should just change Tuesday to Drew's Day.
Yeah, there you go.
Officially. Yeah, I think that'll be all I need.
Later.
Thanks.
All right, see you.
Thanks, dog. Adios.
Enjoy the pod.
What were we talking about? Dan Mangan.
Yeah.
Dan Mangan in music videos and film.
Right.
And rawness.
Yeah.
Because I used to shoot a ton of concerts, and I used to shoot stuff for J.R. Diggs.
Yeah.
And he has this fundraiser he does in Hamilton, downtown. But the artists that came were huge, like Tragically Hip members, Derek Hells, Dwayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
The punk female band.
The Beaches.
The Beaches were there, and so like. I was quite young. I was like 23 when I started doing this, but I was like running the team. Yeah. I came from a wedding sort of run and gun background.
Events,
exactly. So I was like, oh, okay, this is just another event.
Yeah.
But then you see the celebrities come in. And I'm 23 and I'm like kind of gobsmacked, right? And I'm
totally.
Max is just there in the hallway having a conversation. I'm just like trying not to freak out. And I'm also a Hamilton boy and grew up listening to his music since
absolutely.
The start.
Hamilton royalty.
Yeah, so it's just like, okay, concentrate, just get the shot. But it was intense. We had 3 guys on the ground floor and then 3 up top as well. So I was cutting a multi-camera of like 6, 7 cameras sometimes.
Yeah.
And he just wanted a recap of the whole thing, which was pretty intense and just like sort of thrown to the fire. Yeah. And then I started shooting all the concerts at Burning Kiln, and it was great, but not something I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's tough. It's really tough for me because there's all these little these revenue streams you can do in sort of this format.
Yeah.
But I get bored.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tend to shift through different things, and I'm also trying to make money. I know a lot of people will just have a regular job and then
on the side
do projects, which was sort of what I was going to do initially. I was just going to be a cop.
Yeah.
Do stuff on the side. And then I went to school and I was like, oh, this is not for me.
Yeah.
I still finished and got the diploma.
Yeah,
And it was great and I loved it.
For sure.
But very intense
well, I
job.
did a kind of a similar route. I did like right out of high school, you know, they really make you feel like you have to like pick something.
Yeah, which
when you're
I
like
hate.
17, it's like you're signing your
child.
life away. So I went to school for criminology actually.
Okay.
At Laurier.
Yes, I do remember this.
Yeah, so I went to school for criminology, and
so did you finish and get the full?
I graduated early with a general BA.
Okay.
So like a semester early, I think, because I was like, I'm not going to do this. Like, why am I here?
Yeah.
And that was also when I really started getting serious about photography too. So I was like, oh, this is not like, I have no vision for my life in this path right now. I do for photography. So I graduated a semester early, got my first, proper mirrorless digital camera, and I applied to Mohawk for their photography program. Which is where I went.
Sorry, keep on.
Yeah, it's all good. So yeah, I went to Mohawk after that, and then I, it had, like Mohawk, like just shout out, great program, really amazing people there.
Yeah, I'm a Mohawk alumni.
Yeah, that's right, you are. Yeah, that's right, fellow Mohawk alumni. Yeah. So yeah, the program's great. It's a 2-year program too, which was nice for me, especially after just coming out of basically a 4-year, 3.5 but 4-year degree.
Yeah, and I bet you it was a little dry at Mo. I had criminology courses, but not.
I took so many electives, because I was like, I just don't want to be doing this at all.
Yeah.
And like I did well, like I had good grades, and like especially for the first stretch, like when I was, I'm like, okay, this is what I have to do. I'm very serious about this. So yeah, I was getting really good grades. But yeah, the spark was just not there at all. I had no vision. I'm just like, what am I going to do with this? I don't know. Be a psychiatrist? Like, I'm not going to be a psychiatrist. So then, that's when I started shooting on film, like 2018, 19. And that kind of got the gears turning of like thinking about photography really seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a struggle for me because this medium I always made money with it.
Yeah.
And it like... It's the way I kind of think about it is because I'm shooting this doc, so I've been interviewing a lot of chefs, and honestly, a lot of them are like, hey, if you love cooking, do not do it for a living because it'll ruin it for you. And I don't know if that's the same way for photography and stuff too, because I came at it from a hobbyist perspective, and then I got into it to make money, and it did taint it a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily think that's true of photography, at least, because I know that the world of cooking is like really intense, like really fucking intense.
Yeah.
Something I can't even imagine.
Which a film set can be like that too.
Totally, it can be. Yeah, absolutely. And like I don't come from a film background. Like film sets still intimidate me. Like, because there's a whole. It's a very carefully balanced ecosystem of how a film set works. Everybody has their task, and you do not interfere with somebody else's task. They're doing it for a reason. And sometimes if you're on a film set and you're not 100% sure what your task is, it's very anxiety inducing.
Yeah, you don't want to step.
I don't want to step on anyone's toes. I don't want to get in anyone's way. I don't want to get yelled at.
At least from my experience, it's like, at least in Toronto area, everyone is very nice.
Yes, absolutely. And I haven't had bad experiences.
I was coming into it thinking like I'm going to be, the piece of shit on set that nobody cares about. But like, at least from my experience, it's been very positive.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. As long as you're, you've got good vibes and you're not getting in the way.
And that's what I've learned. That's one of the biggest assets you can have on a film set is just being a good person.
100%.
And not being an asshole.
It goes such a long way.
Like, do your job well and be nice.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you will get hired over and over and over.
Exactly.
Again.
That's like the perfect recipe. Honestly.
Yeah, and you could be the best person on set for that job.
Yeah.
But if you're an ass,
no one's gonna want to work with you.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll take the person that's not as good, but because you're with them for like 12, 16 hours.
You gotta be easy to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like on film. And like I said, I don't have a ton of film background experience at all, really. Like the film stuff that I've made is just myself. By myself. I'm every department.
Yep.
Which I'm not easy to work with on my own, with myself. I'm like, sometimes
hard on yourself.
I'm hard on myself sometimes.
All your departments in your head are fighting.
Yeah, they're all fighting against each other all the time. It's an absolute shit show.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? We're talking about film.
Just like
the hobbyist.
Yeah, and just it tainting once you start doing it for a living.
Work-life balance, kind of. Yeah. So like, I didn't find that myself because, like, honestly, I come at photography from the angle of like, this is also just like, it's just kind of like a bit of a life, like an artistic lifestyle for me too. Like, it's not just my job. Like, it's also, it's what I do in my spare time anyway.
Whether you're doing it for a living or not, you'd still be doing it.
Exactly. Yeah, I would still be doing it 100%. And now I'm just trying to figure out a way to channel that into like a sustainable living. And it's kind of an interesting time right now, especially with like the, rise of AI and all that stuff. Which has been, the industry is changing like so quickly. And like, I totally empathize with a lot of people who are worried about their jobs and worried about what they're, if they're even their job is even going to be a thing that exists in a few years. Like, I totally empathize with that. And I think a lot of photographers are scared of that too. But honestly, I just think, if you're really a creative, I think it's just honestly, it's kind of an opportunity for people who are really passionate about photography, like analog photography or digital, or just like the process of photography. It's kind of an opportunity for you as things become easier and faster and not necessarily as good quality, for you to just really just like, drive home the reason why you're valuable as a creative mind, not just a photographer, really expressing your value that way. I think it's a really good opportunity for that, because a lot of people are, looking at AI stuff and they want, aside from like big corporations, of course, they're going to use AI to save a buck 100%. And that's going to put a lot of people's jobs in jeopardy. Absolutely. That's the scary thing about it. But also, like, from where I am, freelance photographer, not really super duper in the commercial world yet. I'm like, okay, this is a chance for me to just express my value as like an individual creative, because I think that's where the real value is. And a lot of people are going to start seeing that even more now as things get, like I said, quicker and easier, and you can just punch in whatever you want into a generator and have it spit it out for you. Like,
it's creating like a personal brand almost.
Yeah.
It's how you're going to stand out from just the day-to-day AI generated content. Like,
exactly.
If you just take photos, like, I don't know, but if you take photos and you have a persona and a brand, and people sort of know you, then maybe your photo, even though it looks like many others, will carry some weight. Exactly.
And I think too, like, a lot of people are still, like, I mean, in many ways I still am, are very strongly anti-AI in every implementation of it, and I understand that to an extent. And like for the longest time, I totally was too. Like, I was like, no AI ever, ban it, like like nothing. Like it's but it's just the way things are going. That's just the way the world's going, and you gotta.
I was listening to an entrepreneur talk about this, and he related it to the tractor. And where back in the day, there's a bunch of farmland, 100 acres, whatever. Yeah. And so it would take like a few hundred people, like a month to plow it. And then here comes two guys with a tractor, and they plow it in 2 days.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you just ban tractors?
Yeah.
I don't, like, what do all these other people do now?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, well, like a more modern example too is like film photography moving into digital too. There's kind of a similar
whole
response,
like the clapper loader. That was a position on set, and that was the person just replacing the film. So they would do the slate and then do the rolls, but now there's no film. Yeah. Well, on most sets,
like the vast majority of
and
sets,
so it's like that whole position just disappeared.
Yeah, it just doesn't exist anymore.
It's just the second AC doing it.
Yeah, and in that context, it's tough because you're, you're on a film set, you're in a union, but maybe like it's definitely a little different there. But like like I said, with photography, like it's just kind of the way that it's going, and like it or not, which like I don't like it in a lot of ways. There's nothing you can do. The train's coming.
Train's coming.
Like you can't stop it, unfortunately.
It does scare me.
Yeah, totally it does. Yeah,
it's sort of why I've diversified a little bit, and I know I have a clothing brand. I didn't plan to do that. It was just like a COVID fluke project.
Yeah.
And then I mean, the other thing for me is I like to live here.
Yeah.
And it's 2 hours away from the closest film hub.
Yeah.
That also plays a huge role.
For sure.
But even with all this AI now, it's like, okay, like, do I want to back off a little bit? Is this going to be an issue?
Yeah.
Is there going to be a job for me? I don't know.
I think there will be. I think that I don't know. It's hard to say because it's advancing so fast. It's crazy how far it's come, even in like a few months.
It's almost come to the point where, like, if you're a writer-director, you can almost make a movie without the crew now.
Yeah,
and just generate it with Google VO3.
Totally. Yeah.
Doesn't get the eyes right yet, but it's scary. It's
getting
close.
It's getting close, and I think where I could see more of where that being more of a problem is like in the world of commercials and stuff too.
Yeah, it's
more so than like cinema and films.
There's still going to be that, and I still think there's going to be a human creative mind behind it, but you may not need a set. You may not need a set dresser, a prop master, a gaffer, a grip.
All the money that they'll
the
save.
Electricians, the caterers. You know, like if you can just generate any image and tell it the exact camera movement you want and the lens that you want. Also, what happens to camera companies? Are cameras going to be...
I don't know. I
have so many questions.
I want to say it'll be a while before that becomes a problem, but like, I don't know. It's going pretty quickly. It's pretty crazy.
Because they were even generating news reels, like newscasters.
Yeah.
And so I sent it to my dad and I said, hey,
that,
like you need... Because my Nana watches CNN and stuff. I said, you need to just...
Screen it.
Just let her know.
Yeah.
Because she may not know, and she's on social media,
yeah.
and so she could see a Google VO generated newscast that's fake, and she won't know.
That's kind of, I think, the scariest part of it for me. It's not so much that it's getting really good, on its own, but it's more like people are not going to be able to discern what's real and what's not real, especially on social media and like with news and stuff and current events. Like if you can go in and make a fake newscast with real people saying some bullshit that your uncle's going to share on Facebook.
Cause the society to be in hysteria.
That's scary. That's what's really scary to me. Yeah. And that's what I think, if anything should be, really heavily regulated, it's that, because that could be dangerous.
And those are like some kind of authentication system built into social media. Like, hey, this is AI, this isn't.
Well, and it's also the ethics of using someone's likeness in AI without their consent.
Yeah. And there's artists... Like James Earl Jones sold his likeness.
Yes, yeah.
And then he passed, so it's like, I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork there, but like, what if they generate him into like a movie he would not want to be a part of?
That's that's the thing, right? That's the really weird, just really weird. It's just weird. It's scary, but it's just weird. It's just living in a weird time. With AI stuff. I don't know. I think it's like a big obstacle, but it's also an opportunity for you to kind of find your own creative way around it, or to embrace it, and however you can. And I mean, that's I'm also ignoring right now when I'm talking about it. I'm not mentioning, which I should be, is like the environmental impact of using AI, because that's also a huge factor ethically for me as well. That's a big reason why I'm still kind of on the fence. Because like I can see how useful it is, and I've tried it, and I'm like, I can see how I could implement this into my workflow and my creative process without it just doing the work for me. But then you think about it, it's like, it really is
much power.
It takes so much power. It uses so much water. That's a big problem, and that's gonna be a big problem.
Well, even if I'm not like a I don't know much about nuclear power, but there is a lot of water involved to cool the generators.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're like circulating that water. But
yeah, I don't know.
That's what they're gonna need to power these.
Yeah,
and each of them are gonna need their own nuclear power.
It's astronomical, like the amount of power that
I was listening to some podcast and they're saying like each thing. So there's Gemini, there's ChatGPT. Each separate thing will need essentially the same power as a city.
Yeah.
Just to run.
It's like, how do you do that? Like, I don't know. And like, I don't know that I don't trust any of these companies to do it, in a sustainable way.
But then the thing is, like, I do use ChatGPT and I use it to speed up workflows.
Yeah, totally. I've used it too.
And I use an AI to cut my podcast. To camera switch.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So I don't have to sit through a 2-hour podcast.
Exactly. And that also though, and the good thing about that is that also frees up more of your time.
Exactly.
To be creative and to do what you want to be doing.
Then you're
but
using a lot of power.
There's the balance, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I still don't know.
I had somebody like bitching me out about using it.
Yeah.
But then I did a 180. I was like, how did you get here?
Yeah.
Oh, I had a car.
Yeah.
What did you put in your car?
Well, yeah, there's really no ethical.
We're all burning fossil fuels.
No. Yeah.
I don't think you can exist as a human and not damage the earth in some way.
Carbon footprint. Everyone.
It's impossible.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
If you exist, you're affecting something.
Yeah, exactly. Cat's biting my foot.
Hey. That's why I don't ever sit like this. But
so
if you
funny.
see me sitting like this, I'm avoiding the ankles.
Avoiding the cat biting the toes. Yeah, that's funny.
He's usually pretty good, but we haven't done a podcast in a while, so
he's feeling a little left out.
A little left out. Yeah.
That's fair.
Oh, fuck. There was one more thing we talked about. We talked about Dan Mangan, your school, film and stuff like that. But I forget. But we were talking about music videos too. Your portfolio. Hey,
I've got my portfolio here. Yeah. Here. So I had this printed on newspaper. So it's printed by this company called Newspaper Club, and they're in the UK. And they do it was my first time ever printing anything through them.
Self-portrait.
My self-portrait opens up the book. Yes, little.
And this is the context we were talking. So
yeah,
sorry, I don't want to
No. It's not too precious. It's
okay.
Newspaper. I have a ton of them. Yeah.
We were talking about context earlier, so
yeah.
I'm like, well, what is he? Was he picking apples? Like, does he work in an orchard?
Yeah. Just kind of a bit of mystery.
I like it.
Yeah.
What happened? Why did it tip over?
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt in that moment. I was like,
you were kind of like you were picking apples, and then your wheelbarrow tipped over, and then you were kind of like. Kind of feeling down about it.
Totally.
Someone took a picture.
Totally. I think that was why I took that picture. But I just was feeling kind of down, and I looked outside, and there's this apple tree with all the apples just rotting on the ground. None of them left. I'm just like, I feel that.
You have a very slightly surprised but feeling down about the wheelbarrow expression.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I want to talk about. So, just sort of your I'm sure there's a lot of photographers listening, but your process going into shoot, and how are you getting comfortable with the subject, and how do you choose? Do you let them sort of ease into a pose, or do you have a Rolodex of poses in your head? Or?
No, I like to kind of I don't know. I still feel like if I could work on anything, I could work on my posing, because I want it to feel.
That feels really natural.
Yeah. So I like to kind of follow the lead. It depends on who the person is and kind of how they're feeling, what their vibe is. We're kind of reading their vibe a bit, but I do kind of like to follow the lead of letting them just kind of settle in, and then being like, oh, okay, I see how I can augment this a little bit to make it.
See what they're doing naturally.
Yeah.
And adjustments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't love putting people in really hyper posed positions. That's just not really my style necessarily. I like it to feel a little natural, and even a little bit awkward, a little stiff on purpose. The picture on the very front is very stiff and very just standing
Yes.
But also that wouldn't work without, like I said, the context, all the stuff that's in the composition, and you need all that stuff.
This one I like. Did you take this through a window?
I took that through. Oh yeah, the one on the left there. Yeah, I took that one through. I think it was a pastry case. So that guy is the owner of a bubble tea shop in Brantford. So yeah, I think I took that through a pastry case.
Oh, and this one is interesting.
This is a fun one.
What is going on here, Jonah?
So that was another business owner in Brantford. In this, like, they have an HR, I think it was an HR company or something.
Okay.
In the basement of a vape shop.
Okay.
And it felt like Severance. Like, this is before I watched Severance, but I went down there and it was like very like liminal space. There wasn't much in there. It was all just like overhead like fluorescent lights. Ugly lighting.
Shadows under the eyes.
Oh, really gross. Like the weird, like old dingy carpets, and they were still setting it up. And like, to be fair, like that wasn't the final product. But but I walked down there and I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is great. This like weird liminal space. Like, this is gonna be so fun. And she was like so great to work with, so down for anything. Which like I know that she was not expecting someone to come down there and be like, oh yeah, let's have you sit. And there was like a pile of old computer towers. And this one, she's sitting in like a cluster of chairs in the corner. I'm like, okay, I know she definitely was not expecting that, but I think it was fun. Like,
were the chairs there already?
They were there already.
Oh, so you didn't pose?
No, it was all I walked in and I was like, this is I don't have to do anything. This is all set up for my weird picture.
Yeah, and that's sort of like that weirdness you were talking about. Like, not that it's weird, but it's it's a person sitting with a bunch of computer and
the dog,
little Pomeranian.
Yeah, her dog was a really cooperative subject.
That's nice because it also adds a pop of color.
Yep,
it's very orange.
Yep. Nice little pop of color there. Yeah.
Do you think much about attire or wardrobe at all? Like, I
do. Yeah. So I tried to. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on who I'm shooting. It depends on kind of what my idea for the shoot is. Like, usually I'm like, wear something that you think is cool. I just want to see what you think is cool. And then we can kind of bring some options, and then we'll kind of figure out what we want. And then sometimes I might have a more specific thing in mind. But yeah, with like, I like to play with colors a lot.
This one I really like. It's you hung the backdrop up on a clothesline, but there's other clothes as well. Yeah, so it's like a part of the clothesline.
Yeah. So that was from a little series I did last summer.
That's genius.
Yeah.
And like, this pose is very. Like, even though it's a backdrop.
Yeah. That's Ian. Yeah. So he just pulled out that pose, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. Like, just keep doing that. And he has a joint. And he's like a big puff of smoke. Like,
and are these
really cool?
Are some of these digital? Some of these film?
I think everything in here is digital. Sorry,
digital. Okay.
Not film. Yeah. I think everything is digital in here.
Do you? You obviously shoot film for clients.
Yeah, the odd time.
Does it make you nervous?
It does, because I don't go in only shooting film. I'm like, oh, I'll bring
secondary.
My film camera, because people like to hear that. They like film, and I'll bring it with me, but I don't
have a safety.
Yeah, I don't rely on it at all. And usually I'm just going to bring my film camera along just for fun, just to have it there for myself. Because, like, honestly, I haven't shot a ton of film recently, so I'm a little rusty. I need to kind of get back into it.
Yeah. These are great, man.
Oh, thanks.
And then I know we were talking about backdrops, but what do you like to use? There's a lot of different backdrops.
Yeah, I like to use, I don't know. I use a lot of seamless, obviously. Like, that's kind of the go-to, is like paper seamless.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, I've had good luck at Value Village finding
just materials,
like big cuts of fabric,
or
like fabric that someone cut like a little corner out of and didn't use the rest. Like, a lot of the backdrops in this are actually Value Village finds. Like, I'll just find this weird piece of fabric with this weird texture on it that's the perfect color.
And like these, I love these poses are great.
Oh yeah, that's Jason Collette. So that was his album cover. The one on the right was his album cover a couple years ago. That was a cool shoot. That was one of my first like legit shoots. And honestly, this was still quite early on in my. Those are definitely the oldest, the only pictures that go beyond like 2 years in my portfolio here.
Yeah.
Because I still really like them, and
your Instagrams.
Yeah, there's my info.
This is great, man.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so yeah, Newspaper Club, really great
That's
printing. Cool. I'm definitely going to get some more stuff from them too.
Is there a way you could print that on your printer with newspaper material, or?
I don't know. I would say probably not, just because it's so, like, newspaper is so thin and so crinkly. Like, I don't know. I would be nervous to do it.
And honestly, the print that you print, I have a wedding photo upstairs that Jonah printed for me, and it's so vibrant. I love it. I know you kind of pushed it a little bit, but I like appreciate you were confident to do that.
Yeah. Well, I also use, my printer is Canon. Like, it's a photo printer. It's a pretty good one. It's not like the top of the line or anything. It's like a Pixma Pro 200, I think, which uses so there are pigment-based inks and dye-based inks, and like my kind of tenuous understanding of it is that like pigment-based inks are more used for like long-term archival prints, but the colors actually can come out nicer on dye-based inks, which is what my printer does. So like if you want something like, especially some of the pictures in my portfolio that have like really punchy primary colors, they'll come out looking like so good, mind-blowingly good. But the problem with dye-based inks is that they're a lot more sensitive to water, so you really can't get any moisture on them, or else it'll start smudging. And if you like leave it in the sun or something, it'll fade over time more than a pigment-based ink would. But yeah, anyway, that's my little tangent on.
Oh, that's cool. No. It's like a world of photography. It's crazy how broad it can be. Like I am a photographer, but it's like I don't dive into film. Not like that. Yeah. I don't print my own stuff.
Well, even with what I know about film and printing and developing and stuff, it's like, man, I'm still just scratching the surface.
How
like I
far
want
do
to
you
make that
go?
very clear.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people who would be listening to me and be like, oh, this guy doesn't know anything. It's like, I honestly. Yeah. You can go so deep with it. Yeah.
No more than me. That's cool.
Yeah.
Any advice for photographers coming up and trying to break in?
I mean,
it's very different. Things are changing quickly.
It depends on what I think now. Well, like I was saying earlier with like AI stuff, I think now the best thing you can do is really get in touch with your creative process and like your inner creative voice, just like really learn how to channel it, because it's hard. Like I still don't even know entirely. I don't have like a nailed down process of like
style.
Of like channel it, just like getting my ideas into the real world, like it's hard. And I think the sooner you start thinking about that, like regardless of technical photography stuff, that all stuff that honestly by and large doesn't matter.
You can learn
it. Opinion. You can learn it. It's binary. It's technical. It's very, I'm talking more of like the abstract of like, if you want to be creative, you want to be artistic, like just as soon as you possibly can, just find out how to just get in touch with that, because everyone has it in them. Everyone does.
Where's it coming from?
Yeah, and people are like, oh, I can never be artistic. I can never be. That's like such a lie. Like so not true. You absolutely can if you want to. If you really want to, you can find a way to tap into that 100%. Yeah. So anyway, when I give a talk at Mohawk usually for the first years, at the beginning of the first semester, and the last time I did it, I was like, I don't need to be talking about technical stuff. I don't need to be talking about like even like how to get a job necessarily, because it's like you'll figure that out as you go. But what I really wanted to talk about, and I'm always beating this drum, is just start thinking about your personal creative process as early as you possibly can. Think about what kind of style, figure out what kind of photography you like or movies you like, and figure out how to kind of channel that, and also see and also another important thing is to see, keep a finger on the pulse of what's popular and what's kind of what stylistically is doing well, and find a way to not do that, but like to use that, but subvert it.
Don't mimic, but emulate.
But kind of like be aware of like, maybe like a component that you could implement that might make it sell or something, but like find a way to subvert it, because then you're using your own voice. Don't, I think the biggest killer of creativity, what I've found at least, is comparison. It's like, once you start comparing yourself to other artists, as opposed to like, finding things you like and just kind of like learning from them, once you start comparing, that's when it gets, you can start getting into the world of like imitation and you don't want that. You want to be an
or
original voice.
You just get deterred.
Yeah, or you get discouraged and you're like, oh, I can never do that. I can never, like, yeah, you absolutely can. Like, I just want to be so encouraging, like, through all of the self-doubt, because like I feel it all the time. Like, I totally do. It's hard not to.
Yeah.
Especially because as a photographer, you have to be critical of yourself to an extent. You have to like refine your work, and you have to know what works and what doesn't. Totally. And sometimes that means being brutally honest with yourself, being like, okay, taking a break, looking back and being like, okay, this doesn't work. I need to like go back to the drawing board and totally rethink this.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to happen like all the time, but the key is to just trust yourself and not get discouraged. Don't let that make you quit. Like, just like never quit anything.
Yeah. And like, at least I had Brendan on. He's a music video director and stuff. And he was just, I remember him talking on a panel at a music video thing he does, and he was just saying sort of like, don't forget to make for yourself.
Yeah.
You are getting paid, and it's it's a business, but at the end of the day, like, make sure you're still making for you.
And I think that's why it's like my train of thought kind of fell off there a little bit, but it's basically, if you're really passionate about what you do and you really are a creative person, then you can do these kind of mundane, boring projects and still kind of figure out a way to get at least a little bit of creative satisfaction out of it. Whether it's just like nailing the lighting perfectly, just having it look really expensive when it's not.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I find, because like a lot of the stuff I shoot, there's not much budget, but I find if I can make it look really high value, then people are gonna be interested.
And the low budget stuff is fun too, because you're like forced to be creative.
Yeah,
because you don't have all the tools. When you have all the tools, I feel like you'll be less creative because you have everything. Totally. Yeah. I listen to a lot of the directors talk about that. They like sometimes prefer smaller budget movies.
Yeah, you're working within these limitations. You kind of have limits to what you can do, so you're like, okay, how do I make the most of this? And then you end up doing something you would never have thought of before too.
Exactly. It forces you to come up with something.
Totally.
If you have everything, you sort of have like decision paralysis. It's like, I can do anything.
And that kind of goes back to why I say that generally I would say gear doesn't usually matter at all, because it's like, I shoot with a camera, like my main stills camera is a very limited camera. It's not a Canon R5. It's not like 40 whatever megapixels or anything. It actually has very clear limits to what it can do. But I kind of like that, because I know how to use it within those limits, and I know how to, and it forces me to kind of get even more creative and just kind of think a little differently about how I'm shooting. Yeah.
Or
similar
like
to film.
Even if I go out and I bring a camera with me, like sometimes I'll purposely only put one lens.
Yeah. Shoot with a prime lens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
figured out.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, okay, here's a great shot. Okay, how do I, it's like, and that's a problem solving aspect coming in again, because it forces you to get creative. You're like, how do I put these pieces together and make it into a cool picture with what I have in my hands right now?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sweet, man. Good chats.
Yeah, pretty good.
I wasn't overly technical for the non-photographers, but go check out Jonah's. So your Instagram is at Jonah Atkins? Jonah.Atkins?
At Jonah.Atkins _.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you're doing portraits, so people can reach out to you?
Portraits, or on I'm working on actually... Little quick plug, working on a book right now of like landscapes and urban spaces more so than landscapes. I spent like a year and a half, 2 years walking around like new developments and construction sites in this area in Brantford and Hamilton, like all these areas, and photographing it. And I just kind of sat on those pictures for years. So I'm putting together a book of stuff that's very different from what you would find on my website.
Very cool.
So I'm very excited to get that out. So
then we can buy it?
Exactly. You
okay.
can give me your money.
Yeah, and support an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's super cool, man.
Yeah,
anything I missed? Okay, I think we covered it.
Yeah. I think we did pretty well. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, thanks for coming on, and maybe once your book's out, we'll have you back on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Go check out Jonah Atkins. Bye-bye.
Hey you, you're listening to Just Drew.